happy 2025.
Same to you.
And in Chinese culture, it's the year of the snake, which means like as usual, snakes they shed their skin, which symbolizes like shedding off bad energy. What good energy do you want to bring to yourself and to the vapors for this year?
Just positivity.
Oh, absolutely. I'm aware that the Vapors they formed in the late 70s in your hometown, Guildford. Now, I may visit England this summer. Are there any interesting music spots in Guildford that I should be aware of?
Well, there's a few bars where bands used to play. There used to be a bit of a scene in the late 70s, early 80s, but a lot of those places have gone now.
Oh, that's a shame. Is it just because of like new businesses that they maybe
Yeah, it's new businesses, really.
well, hopefully, something reemerges. I'm in the Bay Area, like I'm an hour away from San Francisco, and with the pandemic, there was a lot of things that closed down, but I think we're seeing like people are hungry for the music scene, and now we're actually trying to bring back like every week like a musical performance like out in the park. So maybe give it some time. People will probably riot that they need music in their lives.
Yeah, they certainly need something, don't they?
The Vapors' fourth album, Wasp in a Jar, that's going to be out this month on the 28th under, is it your guys' own label?
Yeah, in America, it's going to be out on the Red Chuck record label, vinyl and CD, and I think that's available through Bandcamp.
Okay, nice. Yeah. And then back in the late 70s, there was no such thing as Bandcamp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to evolve with the times. So this album was able to happen because of crowdfunding.
Yeah, for sure. When it became clear that there was interest in us doing a fourth album, and also that we had a lot of good songs that we thought were going to be good for the album, we started thinking about crowdfunding it, and then it just went completely crazy. We ended up raising a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, over $20,000. It was crazy. And what's that's been good for us, it's given us some money for promotion, for record pluggers from Ray B. We have plugger and press in the UK as well. And so the last album came out, we didn't have those things in America. We didn't even have a release in America for the last album. So the crowdfunding has enabled us to do more than just record the album.
And isn't it astonishing that after so many years, I know the Vapors were on a hiatus and you still have that loyal fan base that could help you fund a new album. Now, okay, break this down for me. How much does it typically cost to make an album?
Well, it's a bit like how long's a piece of string. I could make an album in my house, would cost me nothing to make it. Or you can go and pay, $1,000 a day for a studio. So, and it depends on how long you take, how many songs. There's so many variables to making an album.
All right, so it really adds up. So I'm glad, that your fans came forward and yeah, that's great that you had extra money to even have publicity.
Yeah, the last one I think really suffered through not enough publicity. So, well, hopefully this is going to rectify that issue.
Yeah, even though like there wasn't any public like release about it, I heard, very good things about the last album and as well as this album. And your hiatus reminded me because there was a 90s band called Sixpence None the Richer and they had a
Yeah,
very known hit Kiss Me and like over 30 years later they decided to play a few shows. They even came to San Francisco and one of the things that Nash mentioned saying like thank you so much for not forgetting about us.
it is nice that people, when we first came back, I said to the other guys, I was, look, I know we're doing these gigs, but is anyone going to come? Is anyone going to come see us? I mean, I had no idea. Luckily, they did.
Yeah, your album Wasp in a Jar, would you say like it was a labor of love, like making this album?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun making this album. For the first time ever, we were produced by a friend, a really good friend. So we stayed at his house, and we had a lot of fun making this album.
I mean, as long as it doesn't feel like, work. Where did the
Uh,
name of this album come from?
It comes from the chorus of one of the songs, "Forever and Ever," which goes, "You're my porcupine, always."
Fine, Valentine. Yeah, I like that. It was like such a cute like love song and Valentine's Day is just around the corner.
Yeah, "You're my wasp in a jar," and straight away it just jumped out as I said, well, that be a really crazy album title? And quite early on, and everyone sort of went, not sure about that. But then as we got nearer to releasing and like you have to have a title, everyone was coming up with all these different titles and no one could better it. So that's why we called it Wasp in a Jar. It jumped out at us straight away and we couldn't think of anything else that was better than that.
Yeah, sometimes like it's just within the lyrics.
Yeah,
How would you sum up this album?
I would say it's a set of fast, punky songs going right back to our roots.
Yeah, that's what other publications said, that it's like true to your like new wave punk roots. Like you guys
Yeah.
don't like follow the trend or like, okay, what sounds hot right now? Let me go like make the Vapors sound that way. You're like, no, 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 we're not gonna abandon our roots. So I like that you stay faithful and true. It was funny because I'm seeing the album cover and I was like, you know what? I would not open that jar.
It's a big wasp, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Oh my gosh. And then I think a few years ago during the pandemic, they were talking about like some killer hornets. I was like, that's a killer wasp right there. I also want to talk about off the album. Is there a particular song where original Vapor fans and new Vapor fans could like, and like this is the song that they would both agree that is like excellent off Wasp in a Jar?
I think the first track hit the ground running.
And the last song together, is that a reference from the last album?
Yeah, I mean, actually, at one point, that's a good point. At one point, we were going to call the album Together Again.
Part two.
Yeah, that was one of the possible titles for the album. It was just another song that Dave came up with, really. Yeah, does kind of reference the last album a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the feeling I got like listening. And obviously, Turning Japanese is a love song. What is your personal favorite love song or maybe heartbreak song?
I'd say "It's All in the Game" by the Four Tops.
I'm gonna have to listen to that right after this interview. When you hear that, does that bring you back to a time?
It's a heartbreaker.
Okay, I feel like those are the most relatable songs. You're like, yep, I'm like, I feel that. Whatever decade the song came from, it still feels like the present.
Yeah, it's great when things are kind of timeless.
The Grammys are this Sunday. If you could create a category for the Vapors to win, what would it be?
Best album,
But yeah, best album for Wasp in a Jar.
absolutely. That would be it.
And then you have a bunch of like literal
Yeah,
wasp in a jar.
maybe next year. You never know.
Okay, so you've had so many other musical projects under your belt besides the Vapors. And then I think I heard in an interview that you were in your cousin's band at one point.
Yeah, they had a covers band, and I was working in a department store. I think I was 17, and they'd been playing in this covers band, playing clubs, and they approached me and said, "Let's go for lunch." And at lunch, they said, "Well, how much do you earn? Can we ask how much you're earning?" And I told them, and they went, "Right, we want you to come and play bass for us, and we'll pay you more than that. And you'll have to do 2 or 3 gigs a week in a rehearsal." So I just said, "Well, I haven't got a bass, and I'm not a bass player." And they said, "Well, we'll buy you a bass, and you'll pick it up." And that's really where I learned out. I was a guitar player up until that point.
Yeah, and you also played piano, correct?
Child, I had 4 or 5 years of piano lessons weekly.
Yeah, so you could be a one band
Yeah.
person yourself. But right behind me, I don't know if you could see, I have a picture that says music heals the soul. How has music healed you?
Well, just constantly every day. I mean, I listen to a lot of music, and yeah, it heals my soul every day.
That's beautiful. And I know you're going to go on tour with Big Country this spring.
We're actually opening for Big Country in April and May, but we're doing our own small club tour in March in the UK, where we're just getting back to our roots, back to the places we played on our first ever tour. And yeah, we're going to be playing a lot of songs from the new album on those shows. But April and May with Big Country, yeah, we'll be playing some of the songs, but also we have to play some of the older songs as well.
Yeah, you can't forget those.
Because it's Big Country and us. It's not just us.
And I've seen Big Country a few years ago. They're really great.
Yeah, do you know what? I saw them when they very first started, but I haven't seen them since then.
It'll be a great surprise. And I overheard you that you're a big Prince fan. Have you seen Prince live?
Yeah, I saw him on the Sign of the Times tour in London, and I was like 14 rows from the front. It was just brilliant. Best concert I ever went to, that I've ever been to so far. But
Oh,
yeah,
really? Okay, so what do you think would come second runner?
What to Prince, the second best concert? I mean, probably a Jam concert, but I saw them about 100 times. It would probably be one of those because they were a brilliant live band.
It's funny because as I'm getting like a little older, and you're like older, you look young. I'm about to be 31 in a couple months, but sometimes I'm like, if I've seen a band already, it'll be like kind of check mark, one and done. Like I've seen a band maybe 4 times, and I'm like, okay, what's the max where I could hit where it's like I could already predict like what the set list is going to be.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, I loved the Jam. I was also, I'm still good friends with Bruce, the bass player. And it was just like going and hanging out with your mate and watching his band, really.
So off the debut album, Nuclear Days, there was a single called News at 10. What would be your news headline?
The Vapors' new album conquers the world.
I dig it. I love it. Even Wasp dig it.
Yes, yeah. Even Wasps are wasping about.
Yeah.
They're buzzing for it.
That's even better. Okay, that'll be the headline. So anything else you would like to add, Steve, about Wasp in a Jar?
Well, I just hope people like it and give it a listen. Just give it a listen. If you like energetic, melodic, new wave, then it could be the album for you.
Okay, we're gonna send that to our listeners, our viewers. All right, go check it out. It's out February 28th. Steve Smith, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, you're very, very welcome.